Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Something Saturday, and we've got to talk a little bit about some Scream news, about the potential return of one of the stars, and also about a star that may not get to come back after all. So let's jump right into it. Alright, so we've got to talk about this casting news because some actually very interesting stuff has happened. First off, we've speculated for a while as to whether Patrick Dempsey would be in Scream 7, and they sort of had his name listed but not yet confirmed. This has sparked a lot of conversation about will he or will he not be in the movie. Well, we finally have a sort of definitive answer, and I say sort of because he is currently on Dexter's prequel series, and that will be scheduled to film at the same time as Scream 7 will be filming. So when you have that as a situation, it doesn't necessarily mean he won't be able to be in the film. It just means that he probably will not have a big role at all if he is, because he will have to juggle the scheduling of that versus juggling the scheduling of Dexter as well. And when you have an actor that is trying to be in two separate places at once, trying to do two separate things, it doesn't usually work out all that well. Usually they have to make a choice, and obviously the Dexter prequel series should garner a lot of reviews, and he's probably already been committed to this, so he doesn't have a choice in terms of can he exit out of that to be in Scream 7. Now, early on when they were talking, if they had talked to him before about this situation, then he might have made that choice to be in Scream 7 versus being in the series. But more than likely, he probably would have chosen the Dexter series anyway. That being said, it's not out of the realm of possibility he will be in this movie, because we said before that this opening kill has got to be amazing. This opening kill has got to be the end-all be-all of opening kills. If we're supposed to jump back onto the Sydney bandwagon and feel like she's having some sort of major threat in her life and actually feel as though she may not survive this, feel as though she is so stressed out that she has no other choice but to go through this all again rather than run with her kids. We have to put those kids in danger. We have to put her husband in danger. We have to put everyone that Sidney Prescott ever loved in danger. And the way to do that is, of course, with the opening kill being her husband. And we have talked about this before. We have said that that is a distinct possibility. Well, now it looks as though that is probably more likely the way they're going to end up having to go with his current schedule, if indeed he is going to be in this movie. Because Patrick Dempsey being in Scream 7 is something all the fans want. We've wanted him back in Scream since we last saw him in Part 3. A lot of fans feel the same way. They really felt like he was the one for Sidney Prescott, and he was the one that was going to make her happy. Well, if he's not in this movie, I know a lot of people are going to be disappointed. So I think that they know this too. And I think they probably are working around the schedule of him being in this show so that he can make an appearance in this movie. But that doesn't mean it's going to be a happy ending. He could be killed off at the very first scene. Now, the other thing that is interesting here is, say they do bring him back in a small capacity. Maybe he is on a case and can't be there. Maybe he talks to Sidney Prescott on the phone. This has been done before. This has actually been done quite well in movies. Some films make this look absolutely flawless. They could pull it off without a hitch. And other films have suffered for doing this exact trick. It's all in how they handle doing this, because if he cannot be in the film and they want to keep the character alive in hopes that he'll be in the next film, then they are more than likely going to have him film his scenes other places, maybe even just splice it together at the end. We don't know how they handle this particular situation. But sometimes it works and sometimes that can feel a bit off to fans. Sometimes fans know the score. They know that that actor was involved in something else and really couldn't be on the set for that long, so they just put their stuff in. It feels a little bit fake. The other thing we have to talk about is that Mason Gooding apparently doesn't have a problem with Spyglass at all. He doesn't have a problem working with this company. He is currently doing a movie called Heart Eyes about a killer that is wearing a heart eyes emoji. And this heart eyes emoji mask, we've talked about this before. So what is the importance here? If he is doing that film, then he obviously doesn't have a problem working with Spyglass, and he was scheduled to be in Scream 7 at one point. So were a lot of the other people, but they sort of have said they wouldn't be working with the company again. And apparently Melissa Barrera doesn't have a problem with him working with Spyglass. They are still actively friends online. So this is a good situation for us as fans because it does allow his character to return to the screen in Scream 7. This would possibly make him the opening kill. Now, if this is true, then of course Patrick Dempsey, being in this movie, if he does in fact appear in the movie, would be more of that presence that Sidney might call on occasion throughout the movie, or he might talk to her in the beginning of the movie or some point during the movie to let her know he's all right, and then he would be allowed to survive. If Mason comes back into this film, then he will probably be the opening kill, or he will not make it through this film alive. You have to consider that as a possibility because him being in this film, he'd be the only one from that group to return. And that would make him less safe than even if Kirby returned. If Kirby returned, at least Kirby, there's a possibility of her moving forward. She is more in tune with Sidney. She knows Sidney a lot better. And as someone who knows Sidney a lot better, she is more than likely to be able to return in the future because of that impact. Whereas you get a character like Mason's character returning, now you have a bit of a problem. Now you have Chad Meeks returning. And with Chad returning, you don't know what is in store for him. He is the last one. Maybe they explain that all the rest of them were killed off screen. If they do that, of course, I know fans will be angry. If people are killed by the killer or some other killer, they are going to want to see that for themselves. So I do know that would feel like cheating, but he is apparently okay with working with Spyglass. But I wanted to talk to you about those two as possibilities because of this news that Patrick Dempsey will be filming the Dexter prequel during this time and more than likely will not be able to devote time to this movie. So that's where I'm going to leave it off to you. Do you think that there's a possibility that he still returns, that Patrick Dempsey's character still returns? We could get Kincaid. Do you think if they bring him back, they make him the opening kill? Or do you think that Sidney Prescott and him live happily ever after this movie as well, and he just kind of appears to talk to her at one point during the movie? And if so, do you think there's a possibility that Chad could return, that Mason Gooding could return to this film and actually make an impact where he is the opening kill and it's someone we care about and that's why it would matter? As always, we definitely want to hear from you. So go ahead and leave us a comment in the comment box below. We really do appreciate it. Then also make sure you're sharing this video with all of your friends. They're going to want to be a part of this conversation as well. Don't forget to hit that like button. It's free, it helps the channel, and we really do appreciate it. Then Miko says we need more subscribers, and look at this face. You don't want to disappoint Miko, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell while you're down there so you don't miss a single video we do. And then friends, at the end of the day, I know it, you know it, and Miko knows it. Fandom is family.